my name's Rebecca, and this is my girl Imogene. So typically I do videos with adoptable pets, but today's going to be a little bit different. Today I'm featuring a very non-adoptable pet because this is like, I would say she's like my soul dog. And she is part of the reason why I have so much fondness for Preston County Animal Shelter. They were actually who took her in when she was in a moment of need. She was rescued by the International Humane Society, flown into Pittsburgh, and then there were some dogs along with her that were taken to the Preston County Animal Shelter, and they took her in, they worked with her, and she has an incredible story. I'm so proud of this dog. She has taught me so much. But for the sake of time, let's go ahead and get to the point of this video, which is sharing with you some, I wanted to do a breakdown of something that I found quite kind of nerve-wracking, I'll say, when I first started going to yoga classes, which are the beginning sun salutations. They can look a little intimidating if you've never done them before, and especially when you're with advanced practitioners. They can do a lot of crazy, cool things, and I found myself thinking, oh my gosh, like, I can't do that. But you don't have to take those variations. There's all these beautiful steps that you can take in between. So I want to take a moment to share those with you today and break that down so that perhaps you feel more confident when going to a asana class, if you have not been to an asana yoga class before. So, as always, we start with our breath. The breath is the foundation of the practice. So we'll go ahead. One of those treats came up a little bit. UK girl. We'll go ahead and find ourselves in a comfortable seat. And just take a moment to notice what you're bringing with you today. What sensations you feel within your body, maybe checking in with the legs, the arms, the back body, the front body. I always like to take a moment to check in with all those little muscles of the face. See what areas you've been using today. And then allow it all just to be. And start to come into your breath. Just taking a few moments here just to notice the inhale and the exhale. And that's all you have to do. Breathing in, breathing out. If you would like a little anchor you can use here, just start to notice the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. Some people, when beginning, use about a count of 4 as a guidepost. Maybe you feel like that is difficult for you. That's perfectly fine. Just set it as a goal. You can have it as 3, work your way up to 4. Maybe you feel like 4 is too short and you want to go ahead and elongate your count. Just see if you can start to balance between the two. As we're here, I'm just going to take a moment to reflect upon a affirmation card that I drew at the start of class today. And it says, the more I love myself, the more love I have to give. So let's go ahead and repeat that back to ourselves silently 3 times. The more I love myself, the more love I have to give. The more I love myself, the more love I have to give. The more I love myself, the more love I have to give. Good. Allow that to settle in. And perhaps going ahead, opening our eyes. Yes, I found that to be very relevant. If you're ever interested, I'm more than welcome. I greatly enjoy sharing Imogene's story anytime that I can. But for me, she has taught me so many lessons. One of which is really unconditional love. And I know people a lot of times say that about dogs, and I'm not saying it's untrue. But for me personally, this dog came in due to her history. She was very fear-based around people. And watching her unfold and learn to be comfortable and learning to trust people, just such an inspiration to me personally, and such a lesson that I carry with me. So let's go ahead and get started with a few postures. So coming onto a mat or a space, and we do have another little friend here walking to and fro. This is Christine. All right. So let's go ahead and just start at the top of our mat. So starting in a position that you is common. It has many names, but you could just hear it explained as Tadasana or mountain pose. So it might look just like standing, but it's actually a lot more than that. Take a moment to just kind of wiggle out your feet, bring your balance from side to side, maybe forward and back. And then start to ground down evenly through the soles of your feet. Sometimes it helps to imagine that there's 4 corners to your foot. So 2 behind the front ball and 2 in the back of the heel. Once you have that grounding sensation into your mat, take a notice here. Notice if you're flaring your ribs out, if they're sinking back. Try to stack your rib cage directly over your hips. Find a beautiful little balance here between effort and ease of this standing posture. Allow the crown of the head to grow nice and tall. Allow the heart to be open. The back to feel strong. Smooth breath in. Slow breath out. From here, let's go ahead and inhale, sweep those arms overhead, bring those palms facing one another. And exhale, bring hands down to the heart and start to fold forward over your legs. Go ahead and take a nice deep bend in the knees, almost like you're going to sit down in a chair before you fold. Good, so taking a moment here, maybe you keep that nice deep bend in your knees. If you have connection of your rib cage on top of the thighs, maybe you can press down and feel like you can lengthen the tailbone up a little bit longer to get a little bit more of a stretch. Good, from here, inhale, exhale. On your next inhale, let's find a flat back, a halfway lift. So we will start to scoop the heart forward, draw the shoulders back. Maybe those hands come to the thighs or onto the shins. If you have blocks available, you can always reach down for yoga blocks as well. Grow the crown of the head nice and long towards the front wall. Stretch that tailbone back behind you. And again, those legs don't have to be completely straight. Sometimes you get more of a stretch even if they aren't. Breath in. Exhale, let's melt back down. Reach for your mat. From here, let's go ahead and step back into a plank position. So planting the hands, we'll bring one foot back behind us. Bring the opposite foot. Good. So I like to hang out in my plank for a little bit, especially the first few times. But for today's demonstration, let's go ahead and shift it forward, shoulders past wrist creases, and release the knees down onto the mat. Go ahead, untuck those toes, heart pulls forward. From here, start to point those elbows directly back behind you as they hug towards the rib cage. Lower all the way down onto your chest. From here, we'll start to find a little heart opener, a mini back bend. So lifting the heart in front of you and draw those shoulders back. Exhale, release. Since we're warming up, let's take that 2 more times. Inhale, rise. Keep pressing the tops of the feet down into your mat. Lengthen that spine forward before you rise up. Exhale, melt back down. Let's take that again. Inhale, rise. Find your little cobra. A way to check in with your back body to see if you're engaging or just pressing away is to hover those palms up off your mat. Then when you're ready, release those hands. Exhale, melt back down. Good. For this variation, go ahead, engage the core. Ground down through the palms. Press up into a tabletop. We'll meet. Hands and knees. From here, tuck the toes, and we will bring that tailbone up towards the back corner of the wall, finding our first down dog of class. Good. From here, I usually like to take some little wiggles, especially the first few times. Grounding through the hands, the feet, and really lifting the tailbone up towards that back wall. Good. And if any time this does not feel comfortable, you can always lower back down and take this all from tabletop. I've done that for entire classes myself when I couldn't do down dog. Good. If you're with me in down dog, we'll go ahead, we'll take another full breath in. Slow breath out. And we will walk to the top of the mat. Take as many steps as feels good to you. And if this feels difficult, those yoga blocks are a nice little guide here. I just don't happen to have any with me at the moment that you can always use as you come back into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Heart pulls forward. Exhale, release the gaze and melt. Good. Let's come to standing by lowering the tailbone, finding that bend through the knees, and then protecting the low back. We'll inhale, sweep those arms all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, melt down through center, fold towards your mat, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release the hands, step back, find a plank. So we did variation 1, here's variation 2. We'll shift it forward, come down onto the shins, untuck those toes. Maybe you want to play around with a low plank. So we aren't going to allow the shoulders to dip below the elbow joints here. So heart pulls forward, pull that core in, elbows point directly back, and find your low plank variation. Smooth breath in, slow breath out. Go ahead, release down onto the chest. From here, inhale, rise, find your cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Tuck the toes, option to go back to down dog if that serves you here. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, rise high on toes, bend the knees towards the chest, give yourself space, and gaze forward, walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat. I'm just walking today. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, heart shines forwards, nice long spine. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep those arms all the way up. Come back to standing. Exhale, melt with it, flow down, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, plant those hands, step back, plank. Good. Shifting forward, shoulders past wrists, so we're rolling forward onto the toes, releasing those shins. Release the feet. From here, go ahead, pull those elbows directly back as you lower all the way down onto your chest. So these are just the variations you can take. So from here, I want to spend a little bit more time on that chest opener. So far we've done baby cobra, maybe a little bit of a higher cobra. So thighs are on your mat, tops of the feet are on your mat. Those legs are still active, but they haven't lifted up yet. Something to be careful of is people think cobra is about getting really high and they press the mat away and kind of crank their low back so they can get those straight arms. But that creates a lot of tension in the shoulders, as you can see. Depends upon your body proportions, of course, but it can create a lot of tension in the shoulders and not a good sensation in that low back. So using strength over leverage, inhale, rise, find your cobra. Exhale, melt down. Good. For the sake of this, we'll take that one more time, but this time option to play around with upward facing dog. So for this variation, you would inhale, start to press the mat away, rise up, then lift the top of the thighs up off your mat. So sometimes we kind of roll those shoulders forward, shoulders are pulled back, chest is open. Breathing in. Good. Exhale, melt all the way back down onto your mat. Good. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale, bring it back, down dog. Smooth breath in. Slow breath out. Let's do that one more time, all the pieces together. Inhale, rise on toes, knees towards chest, meet at the top of the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep those arms all the way up, grow nice and tall. Exhale, melt forward over the thighs, hinge at the hips. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release, plant those hands, step back, find your plank. So let's do that modified variation with the low plank. So shifting forward, lower onto the knees, pull those elbows in, exhale, lower halfway. Inhale. Exhale, release the rest of the way down. From here, untuck the toes, choose cobra or up dog. Tops of the feet press evenly in both variations, so keeping hips down for cobra or lifting them up for up dog. This time, let's go ahead and lower back down, piece by piece, all together. Inhale, press it up, tabletop. Exhale, bring it back down, dog. Smooth breath in, slow breath out. Good, let's go ahead and come down onto the shins. I want to just demo something for you. So a lot of times, when you feel comfortable with those kind of flows, you can shorten it a little bit and combine some things. So I'll show you what that might look like. But I know for me personally as a new yogi, this is what I saw, and I found it very intimidating. So don't feel like you have to come in being able to do this to be able and do the rest of the practice. At any time you can sub the earlier things out that we worked on as a vinyasa, like a flow for in between the postures. So I will show you perhaps a more slightly more of the recognized variation that you see a lot in classes over here. So we'll inhale, bring those arms overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, melt forward over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back into a plank. Good. From here you find a nice firm plank and you shift forward on toes. We find what is called chaturanga or low plank. So bending those elbows back, you find your low plank here. Inhale, roll over those toes, pull the heart open, up dog. Exhale, strong cores, hips pull you back, roll over the feet, down dog. I'll do that just one more time. So inhale, rise up on toes, knees towards chest, meet at the top of the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up for the sky. Exhale, flow with it, melt down towards your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, find plank. Shift it forward. Exhale, low plank, chaturanga. Inhale, find your heart opener. For me, it's up dog right now. And exhale will pull you back into down dog. Full breath in, slow breath out. Then go ahead, shift it forward, come down onto shins, pull the hips back, come into a child's pose. Release those hands to your mat. Maybe you bring the forehead down to touch as well. Rock that head, maybe no, release tension in the mat. Smooth breath in, slow breath out. Take a moment to appreciate these movements and what you've created in your body already. And when you're ready, we'll start to rise up. Okay. So the next best part of class, we'll just do a little shavasana. So shavasana is the final resting pose. This is Christine here. She's a really good girl. So just take a moment to lay back on your mat. If it's comfortable, extend the legs forward, bring arms out beside you, palms facing up. If this is uncomfortable, you can always plant soles of the feet on your mat and bring those knees in together and allow that low back to rest down on your mat. This is called constructive rest position in this variation. And from here, just bring awareness to the legs, the arms, and allow them to softly release. Allow the back body to be heavy on your mat. Allow the front body to feel open and light. Allow all those beautiful little muscles in your face to relax. Perhaps you want to come back and notice your breath. You can use that as your anchor, following it in and out of your body. you feel comfortable, allow even your control of that to release. And just allow yourself a few moments to be. Please feel free to stay here for as long as serves you. For the sake of the video, we'll go ahead and we'll start to bring awareness back into your hands, your feet, subtle movements into your arms and legs. Maybe you want to stretch those arms forward, stretch the feet forward, find a full body yawn. And then take a moment rolling over onto your right side, using your little elbow as a pillow for your head. And when you're ready, not a moment before, slowly rise up, finding a seat. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. I hope it has served you well. Till next time, namaste.